for since the inception of this contract, there's been a lot of problems, a lot of inconsistencies. There's been a lot of finger pointing. After the last workshop, it's not the traffic light, it's the cameras. Now we're turning on the cameras. When I say we're talking about the city. And because the law was passed in 2010, and there was no uniformity placed in the law, like you do with DUIs, statewide at a DUI level, that a person is considered drunk, and that's statewide. But because they didn't do that, and they put these red light camera laws into effect, you have a lot of inconsistencies throughout the system. And I think that we should, as an elected body, we have a moral obligation to protect our law-abiding citizens who are being fleeced by this system. So with that in mind, I respectfully request the termination of the contract with American Traffic Solutions.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Nurse.
As you know, at the last meeting, what I sort of focused on was the decline in the number of traffic tickets. You know, we peaked at around 3,500 a month, and we were at 1,043 in January. And from my perspective, we really had two things that have happened. One, we've had a sort of relentless pursuit of problems, and as we keep tweaking it, that drives it down. But I think the other thing that's happened is I do think there has been a fairly significant cultural shift in people remembering that, oh, there is a brake pad on my car, and so it's possible to hit the brake rather than the gas when you see a yellow light. We are approximately at break even. I asked, I got the ticket numbers for February, and it was 1,099. But then I asked, well, what was how much of the time was the lieutenant, so the supervisors, the red light cameras, how much of his time was he using on that? And that was 3 of 8 hours a day, which if you just translate that, it's about $3,500 a month for him. And so, if you were to allocate time from the clerk's office, time from the hearing officer, much less the various supervisors who have been involved in all this, we are, at approximately break even. So, but depending upon how you want to define it, but I would suggest that the logical thing would be what the administration suggested yesterday, which was, sort of acknowledge that we're not going to renew the contract, and that we're going to end it when we hit break even, or September 30th, whichever comes first. And I think that's a logical kind of thing to do. It acknowledges that tickets are down by round numbers, 70%. Now that doesn't mean we've solved all the problems. We've got lots of problems with particularly the interactions between pedestrians, bicyclists, and cars. And I happen to think that's I think that's our most immediate traffic issue. But I would offer an amendment to request administration to end the contract when it determines that we are at break even, or September 30th, whichever comes first.
I'll second.
Now I'll stop it.
That was an amended motion?
Yes.
We have, how many cards do you have?
You have 3 cards.
Why don't we go ahead and look at
Yes,
some?
please.
Just waiting for us. There we go. You all already know how I would like you to vote. If the contract isn't killed today, the program won't last very long, given what their price was set as well yesterday about winding down when it can't pay for itself. To help figure this out, and because I'm a programmer, I wrote this program last night that converts the complex ATS payment calculation system into a simple one-page calculator that anybody with a number of citations per camera per month, a few other variables to be able to figure out what the city's monthly costs are. There are a couple examples in here from September and October of last year, and if we get the location performance summary report, which is a standard ATS report, we could even do that for January and February. The difficult part about all this, and I'll show you with just these two examples, there were more tickets in September 2003. There were 1,675 tickets. I know this is tiny, but all the zeros that you see in this column are cameras that we're getting zero profit from. And when I change it to October and hit calculate, you'll see some of those camera locations change. The number of tickets doesn't matter. It's the number of tickets per camera that matters as to how much money actually comes into the city. Because you can see, this camera location, the city's getting only $702 in. And this camera location, the city's getting $9,336 in. But this utility that doesn't need internet access or anything, it's just JavaScript, can be run on any computer and can help you, there are places to plug in here what the paid percent is that you think you're going to get. 72 is higher than we've ever gotten, so I put that in as a safety figure. Cost for police, cost for clerk, cost for staff. Of course, these are just guesses on my part, but this is a tool to help you determine quickly without having to go through a lot of arduous mathematical calculations. So I wanted to offer that up to you, and thank you for your time and for listening to me and on the last 3 years, and thank you for having me at the workshop and allowing me to speak. Thanks.
Next speaker is Melissa. Last name looks like Wengay. W-A-N-D-A-L.
It's Melissa Wando, but I'm going to speak on 7. Is that,
Okay, I've got you down for 6 and 7. And then want to speak to this
do
one?
you want me to? Okay.
7's the refunds.
I just wasn't sure.
6 is the
Thank you so
contract.
much
and
for your
7's the
time.
refunds.
I really appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm here for the human value of the red light safety cameras. My name is Melissa Wando. The red light safety cameras are not just red light safety cameras. They have a name. It's the Mark Wando Traffic Safety Act.
Did she say who she's with? Just a resident? She live here?
I'm saying it right now. I'm Melissa Wando, and my husband was Mark Wando. The Mark Wando Traffic Safety Act that was passed May 2010. Yeah, and so I'm here as the human value of the red light safety cameras because they simply reduce the risk. I keep up with the statistics too. I'm not somebody that just came along and is just passionate about putting anything up. It was about trying to find a way to curb the behaviors of red light running, trying to retrain the brains of people to get them to understand to stop going red. With all of this opposition with the red light safety cameras, I'm into, give me information, give me facts, but don't give me just opinions. And I think what happens is this sensationalism of these cameras. Everybody's still giving everybody excuses. People need to stop at red lights, period. They're breaking a safety law. I was 9 months pregnant when my husband was taken out of our lives. My brother was a driver, my husband was a passenger, and they were stopped at a red light. My brother proceeded through the
Okay, we got 3 cards.
Matt Burrell.
The short yellow refund issue is a mess. There's no question about it. And it won't be settled today no matter how you vote. But the facts are these. Going back over 2 years, there are at least 2,498 red light camera citations issued at the 3 affected intersections that would not have been issued if the city had said those lights properly using the slope. The revenue generated to the city for these is probably close to $275,000 given a 70% payment rate, which is a little above the average that the city's experienced for the run of the program. The money paid to ATS for these is definitely gone, but there is the possibility to get a majority of the money paid to the state in the form of credits on future payments. That should be looked into. Other programs allow for this, for some go back and forth between the city, reconciliation with municipalities and the state. Marcia was shocked when she got the ticket, and now she knows why. A man named John, who just started a new job last month, would have been here today if he could have gotten off work, said he would really like to have that money back. Jill said that the light changed too quickly. She didn't know what to do. Donna, a retired grandmother who's on Social Security and had to save and do without for 3 months, not making that up in order to pay for her $158 fine. She would really like her money back. Joanne, who I talked to just a couple hours ago on the phone, she's very excited she might be getting that money back because she really needs it, and she wished me luck. There are a lot of people who got these tickets. We have to remember that if everything was working perfectly, they never would have gotten these in the first place, and the city never would have had the money in the first place. So to take responsibility to do the right thing, I think would be to give them at least something back and say we're sorry. Thank you.
Leonard, Schmiege.
Put it back in, just scratch it out. It's committee of the whole, we couldn't get in the BF&T.
No, I have the committee of the whole, I stretched out within the 30 days.
Yes.
Can I ask a question of clarity? Are we talking about $21 or $158?
Well, that would depend on how
Okay, so it's all going to be, okay.
up in the air.
We vetted out.
As I indicated earlier, I think it's probably going to have to go through some sort of process, as Mr. Cornell was indicating.
We'll tell us that from the legal.
There may be a way under the rules of civil procedure to do that, so that they can go back in front of the judge and see if the circumstances of the judge would change the conviction.
So then this is to go to committee of the whole, this is not the only final discussion. Roll call.
Dudley?
Yes.
Rice? Yes. Cornell?
Yes.
Nurse?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Foster? Yes. Curtis?
Yes.
Tennant?
No.
What did the mayor's lead on this tell you about the motivations of the program?
Well, the program obviously had flaws from the beginning. We did a 30-day, I think, or 6-month trial when they were saying stop on yellow campaign. And I thought at that time, at 10 intersections, you could have calibrated everything. We have over 300 intersections. That never happened. So it was a lot of inconsistencies with equipment, timing, and ultimately the city blamed the cameras and not the yellow lights. But the mayor's leadership yesterday dropped the meeting, dropped the numbers, 45, showed me his willingness to try to make it right. Before, as you know, I've been fighting this thing since, 2010, and since 12. I'm sorry, I'm losing it. And then the administration wasn't even trying to hear it. I mean, they were just telling everybody, don't run red lights. The fact of the matter is, we were manufacturing red light running. You can't screw with the time and expect people to be able to comply. I mean, we have what I call a legal level, a statewide and a standard. When they came out with this second law that pertains to intersections, you can have yellow light times all over the place, and that's what people were doing. And you don't have a mandated consistency in yellow light time, and that lends way for mischief, and that's what happened. And basically, a lot of people got fleeced. You hear all the excuses in there about the refund, but in actuality, you took that money. Right now, none of you guys are getting tickets for speeding. And if you go downstairs and get in your vehicle and get a ticket for speeding, you're going to be upset, especially if you didn't speed, And unfortunately, we're blaming the other parties that are involved, which the traffic officers were sitting right here. No one asked them about giving the money back before they left. In fact, they brought that young lady with them to testify. That's what they've been doing. They'll take her around and get the personal, emotional part of it, to get elected officials to keep these camera programs up and running and continue fleecing their citizens. But like I said, I appreciate the mayor's leadership, but I appreciate more so Mr. Matt Powell. Without Mr. Matt Powell, we would have never known what was going on. Staff was not forthcoming. Every time he brought up an issue, staff, they came back and they would tell us, they try to defend what Matt was saying instead of telling us how they were going to fix it. There was no proactivity going on, and I see it. It was all reactive, and I appreciate Mr. Matt Powell for coming out and helping us as a private engineering, slope tests and all that. That meant the world, because without that, I don't think the elected officials would have been able to disseminate how this program was progressing.
Describe what the break-even or September 30th deadline means.
Well, what Mr. Nurse is alluding to right now, because of the concerns that the clerks brought up. Remember last year, the clerks came out with a whole bunch of concerns, the clerk reporters, Ken Berg and the clerks over in Tampa, and I think down in Sarasota, about the due process of people being able to pay a ticket at the 158 rate instead of the $200-something rate. Because of those and some laws that came out of Tallahassee, they eased up on not citing people for right-hand turns. As you know, right-hand turns was 2/3 of the tickets at the intersection. But right-hand turns represented 0.01% of the accidents, which means they were non-factor. That's where they make their money at. And when that got taken away, the ticket numbers dropped. That's what has happened. They won't tell you that. And because the ticket numbers have dropped, it's going to be hard to keep paying all these people that they got running this program. They got retired officers looking at film. They got court officers here for appeals process. They got people that are maintaining cameras in the traffic department. All that costs money. It's not going to be cost effective because there won't be enough money to pay them. So that's what they mean about break even. Right now, I think as in the workshop, Councilman Nurse estimated that we were up maybe $14,000.
Are you concerned at all about possible adverse effects of getting rid of the cameras?
No, I'm not, because we spent approximately $92 million in our police department. That's $92 million. And the core responsibility of local elected officials is public safety. We're doing that. We raised taxes on these people, I think, in 2010 to the tune of, 2012 to the tune of $10 million to try to keep our services where they are, and people pay for that. So we have 545 officers. We're at full strength. It was also been told to me by motorcycle operations that they wanted to expand that. They were generating substantial traffic enforcement revenue that all stay right here with the city, minus the court fees and all. And they wanted to expand it and get more motorcycles. I think we're quickly doing that. We only have 2, maybe get 10. They're more agile. They can respond quicker, and maybe that's the way. But the previous chief didn't want to expand the motorcycles. But now, not having a new, the mayor's option of hiring a new chief, maybe he can dictate what he wants done in that area.
You said that red light runners, the numbers are dropping. With the loss of these cameras, do you expect that behavior to continue, or possibly could red light?
Well, you can't. I mean, when you talk about behavior, okay, and you talk about how many tickets road at these intersections, you have to show me the same traffic count of the same time prior year. You know what I'm saying? Who's to say people haven't found out that ticket cameras are there and they ain't driving that way no more? They might be driving down the back roads. So you got less traffic on that street. You know what I'm saying? Also, if you have people, they talk about 70%, 5% of people get them, don't come back. We spend a lot of money to lure people into our beautiful city, which is the 4th largest city in the state. Well, if you get someone come in and get a ticket that they didn't think they should have gotten, they're not going to come back and spend money in the city, in our restaurants, in our shops, and with our businesses. So, I mean, economically it hurts you too. When you got divisive measure in your town, it's going to draw people away. How many of you went downtown and spent $400 or $500 with your family eating dinner, only to come out to find a $12 party and get on your way shift? How does that make you feel on a Friday night when you just spent $500 in that town?
So come September 30th or the break, whenever it was first, I mean, the cameras go away. The mayor said that he looked into the possibility, if it becomes a problem again, possibly re-implementing them or bringing in new technology. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think...
My thoughts on that, it won't be as easy. It won't be as easy. And the problem with it, really with the whole program, was we did not vet it. As a council, we did not vet it. You piggyback, Mayor Foster said that we piggybacked off what Miami was doing. When you piggyback, when you're buying police cars, or you're buying some sanitation truck, or you're buying a fire engine, you piggyback off of the next municipality and get a good price. But when it comes to things that are relevant to public safety, and that's going to impact the people we represent, we should be able to vet that. All this vetting you see now is after the fact. And the problem when we piggyback, council had no power. The only power we had was to kill it. We couldn't amend it, we couldn't change the right timing, we couldn't instruct the mayor to do jack. The mayor had to be willing to do it. And that's what happened. Your people elected 9 elected officials, but they only had 1 making the call. And the other ones couldn't do anything for it.
Get rid of it was overdue.
I think it was. I think it had, like I said, if we would have had more due diligence instead of piggybacking, council would have asked them in the trial phase, you know, is everything right? Is all the timings on? Did everybody do all the estimate calculations? We asked none of that. Because they did that vote, it was 5-3. I voted no on that vote. It was myself, Councilmember Cornell, and Councilwoman Rice that voted no. But once they pushed that through with 5 votes, we had no prejudice. It was all in the mayor's shop. And the mayor could do whatever he wanted, and we couldn't tell them to do anything. Even though people was calling us with all these sob stories or I was adversely affecting them and have problems that they're having and light timing and all that, we could do nothing. You know, and that was unfortunate because you elected us to try to represent you. But today